I'm all over the place, but that is okay. Welcome back to the Brown Skin Blueprint. This is our season finale. So no pressure, Asia, no pressure. This is our season finale. So
I bring it today,
just
huh?
saying. Yes, like you are, so it doesn't matter. So we have a special guest. So Asia and I went to George Mason together, but we didn't really like know each other at school. Like we would speak when we saw each other, but we like ran in different circles. But we went to a PWI, so most of the black people pretty much knew each other. So, that was that. She is a fire sign, like us, she's an Aries. Um, so Asia will always share stuff, or she will always share my stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like I like this is my person. Like I don't even know her, but like this is my person. So we were each other social media BFF because I was like, I feel like this girl be sharing my life, like how, and I don't even know her. So if you've read my blog before, rightfully so, Brittany, Asia, and I collaborated in March-ish of this year on a blog called Miscarriages and Relationships, which if you have not read that, amazing, amazing, amazing read. So yeah, here we are today, collabing again on a different platform because I felt like this was needed. Like we need to have this conversation. Um, Asia blogs too, and she wrote a blog called Take What You Need. And I asked her to come on so we can like kind of dig deep into like taking what you need, why we don't take what we need, stuff like that. Because all of Shawana, you can relate to from blogging. Like you can write, but you be done. But sometimes, when you like talk about it, like you can like really, really like, get in there. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation. So yeah. You wanna start with the first bullet point, Shawana, I guess?
I can do that. So one of the things, Asia, that when I was talking to Brittany about y'all's collab post and just about taking what you need in general, that post that you did, it pulled me so much because she was telling me how you were saying that I think your is it your husband or your boyfriend had
Boyfriend.
asked you, how much money did you or did you need anything, and you was like, oh well, I don't really need it, but it was like, I mean, you could have used it or whatever. And that resonated with me like so deeply because I feel like because of my childhood trauma, I feel like I should figure stuff out on my own. I feel like if I am in need for something, it's up to me to get what I'm lacking. So that brought us to the bullet point first is extreme independence. Can you kind of go into detail and expound on like what extreme independence is, like your experience with it, and even like how that what that looks like for other people so they can like realize that this is what's going on?
So for me personally, like it's crazy because when she hit me up, I literally had just had this conversation with my mom, and I told her, I was like, I feel like I'm too independent. And I thank y'all for raising me to be independent, but I am at a crossroads where I feel like it's hindering me in my relationship right now. And for me, I've always been the person that's like, if I can't afford to get it, or, if something's got to get cut off and I got to go without for a little bit, then so be it. I'm going to bounce back. I'm going to take care of it another time. So I had to really think about, why am I this way? Like, why am I so okay with just going without as opposed to just asking someone to help me? So I was talking to my mom, and it just clicked when from the time probably, I don't know, I guess since I was like 5, that's as early as I can remember. My dad has always said, you have your own money, you take care of yourself, you have your own place, you're going to get your own house, it's going to be in your name, everything's going to be in your name, and ain't no man going to put you out of nothing. So that was my like ding, ding, ding. Hello, there it is. So now I like have a amazing partner, and he will literally give me any and everything, but I always stop him Like, for example, I know this is materialistic, but today he was like, oh, trying to get the Yeezys for us that came out today. And I was like, oh, I don't need them. He's like, but I want you to have them. I don't need them, so you don't need to get them for me. And I have to constantly remind myself, like, you can't always do that because that hurts his feelings. Mm-hmm. Like, if someone wants to do something nice for you, you have to be willing to accept that. And I mean, not all the time, because sometimes not everybody has the best intentions, but you should, at this point, you should know who you can and cannot trust to have the best intentions for doing something nice for you.
Mm-hmm. And that could be his love language, you know, gifts.
Yeah.
Giving, and everything. You're coming from a place of, nah, you keep that extra money, and he like, girl, I'm trying to love you, and
yes. And it is he is the type of person that's like, he wants to buy people things and do things for people, and that's how he says I love you. And I'm like, all right, this has been a trying few months of me trying to really just scale back and saying, no, don't do X, Y, and Z, and just saying, okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I totally resonate. What I found through, like, just on my healing journey was a lot of this, because I did not feel worthy of help. I didn't feel like, I didn't feel like, especially depending on the situation, I just didn't feel like, who are you to ask for help? And it's like, no, who are you not to ask for help? I had to like completely change my way of thinking about that. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, that's definitely, I feel like, with extreme independence, it's never really an in-between thing. It's either you feel like you're supposed to take care of yourself and no one's supposed to help you, or like you said, you feel like you're not worthy of people's help. Mm-hmm. So it's one or the other. I don't think there really is a middle ground when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I agree. Asia, when you were talking, I smiled when you were saying, your parents pretty much taught you how to be without a man. And my dad was the same way. Like, I knew how to check my oil. I know how to cut grass. Like, it was always like, if you are single and you are by yourself, like, you are never in a position where, you are without, or you can't do something because it's a man's job. Like, you are going to know everything I can possibly teach you. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, some of my extreme independence was like arrogance. Like, that's how I was raised. Like, nigga, I don't need you. Like, I got this. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. So like, while I thank my dad for instilling that in me, I felt the same way. Like, I feel like it hindered me too, because in my mind, like, if you ain't show up with my check, like my cross list check now, yeah, we can't even have no conversation. Like, I already know, like, the minimum that you can bring to me that I need, like, I already know what that is. Like, and if you ain't, like, go ahead about your business. So while it was good, it was also a setback, because it kind of put me in a position where it was like, what if you can learn something? What if they can teach you something that your dad didn't teach you? Like, he was like the greatest person to me, but he didn't know everything. So it kind of put the barrier between me and other people, because in my mind, I was raised like, Brittany, you are always going to be okay because of what we instilled in you, what we taught you. But at the same time, like, I still tell Shawana to this day, thank God that I have her in my life to be at work and stuff, because I am standoffish as can be. And I just be like, yeah, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't got time for that. Like, you ain't about to have me in nothing. Like, I don't even trust you. Like, if she is weak, because that's how I am. Like, I be like, okay, who is that? So, like, it's good because I don't trust people easily. I don't look at people like, oh, this is somebody who can help me out. But at the same time, there have definitely been times in my life where I could have used help, but like, because I just felt like I can figure it out, or, you know what, it just ain't meant for me to know, or something like that, then I just wouldn't say anything. And I just went without, because in my mind, I was just going to figure it out on my own, just like everything else. So, really, like, same story. Like, it was good in one sense, and then in the other sense, I feel like it definitely put a barrier between me and other people, so to speak.
Mm. All right. You want to get into the next point? Right.
Personal experiences of why, child. Okay, so one thing that I thought of right before we started recording was, so some of mine is trauma too, because I tell people all the time, my parents were a perfect duo. The one area they fail is communication. And a lot of times I was playing middleman when I should not have been playing middleman. So because of that, sometimes I lacked trust with them when it came to my feelings. So in my mind, I kind of built this whole, if I don't tell you what's wrong, you can't disappoint me when you don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the times it was kind of like, if I go to Shawana or Asia, if I go to you and say, I'm behind on my mortgage, I need $300. So if you tell me you don't have it, then Asia, I see you with them new Yeezys on. I'm like, damn, like, so she went and brought some Yeezys, but like she couldn't let me get $300. But if you don't know that I need the money, there's no area for me to be upset with you. You don't know that I'm going through nothing. And I still do it a little bit to this day. I'm a lot better than what I used to be. But I just felt like if I don't tell you that something is wrong, if I deal with it on my own, we're not even gonna have that gray area of like, damn, I told you this and you ain't even check on me, or, damn, I told you this thing was wrong and you ain't even call me back, or I've been blowing you up all night and I still haven't heard from you. Like that can lead to like extreme disappointment in people, or it can alter relationships. So for me, it was kind of easier to just, hell, be like in the trenches by myself. Then, I could tell you about it after, because now I'm good. Like, I'm like, girl, I was going through it. And people used to be like, why you say nothing? I just be like, I just had to get through it like by myself or whatever. But like a lot of that was, if I would have told you and you wouldn't have been there, then I would have had to deal with that disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
So I have had to learn how to know who to go to for what. And also just kind of like trust people to be in my corner. And I'll always give props when props is due. My ex-boyfriend was the one who actually taught me this. I was going through something and he was like, what's wrong? Like, I can tell by the way you sound something is off. And I was like, nothing, like, I'm good. Like, it was some major shit too. Like, I even remember to this day what we were talking about. And I was like, I'm good. And he was just like, Spence, why do you do that? And I was just like, do what? He was like, you never let people help you. And he was just like, it's okay to let people in so they can, like, people can help you with stuff sometimes. And it was almost like it took for somebody on the outside who wasn't family to tell me, like, you are carrying too much. You carry too much of other people's stuff. So I just kind of had to learn to be okay with like telling people like I'm not fine, because I would literally either be tore up, living in deficit, like trying to pour into people's cups when mine was empty, all for the sake of like, yeah, but they can't disappoint me though. Like, if they don't show up, like, they don't know nothing is wrong, so I have nothing to get mad at. So it makes zero sense, but for me it was like a way to protect myself. So I just didn't share whatever was wrong, or I didn't ask for help, because yeah, once I tell you something was wrong and I got through it, we can move on. I ain't got to worry about you not being there or me feeling some kind of way. Like, I've eliminated a potential issue in my mind. So yeah.
What about you, Asia? Where do you think well, I think you kind of expounded on that a little bit. You were saying with your dad, like he let you know from the get-go, like this is how it's gonna be. This is how like you want to function so that you can eliminate getting hurt, whatever like that. Do you feel like, or can you expound even more like on other experience that may have shaped you into extreme independence?
Definitely. So two things. So the first with my dad, um, with him teaching me all of that, it's interesting when I think about it now because I didn't realize when I was young, but my dad had a really serious drinking and drug problem. So my mom was the one that was holding it down. Like he couldn't keep a job. She was paying all the bills. Then once I got to be like 16, 17 and I started working, I started helping my mom with the bills. So that was a big part of it as well. Like you're telling me all of this and saying I don't need a man, but also I don't need you because I'm helping and I'm taking care. Like, so that was a big, big part of it and why I feel like it's so hard for me now. Like I've been in my relationship for about 7 years now. And still to this day, there are times where I know my car's on E, but I get paid tomorrow and I got enough to make it to and from work. So I ain't finna ask you for no little $20.
And go say Nathan.
It's all right. I'm gonna get paid tomorrow.
It's fine. Whatever's there is there.
And I'm like, why? Like the other day I did that. The other day, and I was like, Asia, why are you like this? Like, ask this man for some gas money. So I was like, can I get $20? But that's just that was my big personal experience, and then it also trickled into, I guess probably when I was like 25. Yeah, when I was like 25, I went through depression like really bad, and part of it was I know now because of my birth control that I was on. I don't know whoever has had the Nexplanon, but I don't advise it.
Oh my gosh!
So
I heard bad things about it too.
Girl, I was already like, because my dad deals with depression and he's got PTSD, which hence the drug use and all that. I'm discovering a lot about my dad right now. So, the first time I actually had depression was freshman year in college because my grandma had passed, my dad went to prison, and we got evicted out of our house. And this was all in like a 3 months time. So, yeah, freshman year was bad. So I bounced back. No one really knew. But in 2015, I was best friends with these 4 girls from high school. We had been best friends since like 8th grade. And with my depression, I never told them. I just kind of disappeared. I didn't tell them what was going on. They kind of had reached out like once or twice and was like, but their feelings were hurt because they saw me hanging out with my boyfriend and his friends, which I put on a good face, but no one knew that I was literally crying every single day. Like there was a point in time where I contemplated suicide very heavily. And no, I couldn't talk about it. So that to me, I was like, I can't talk to you about it because I know that everybody else has their own stuff going on. And it wasn't a disappointment factor for me. It was just, I know you have your own baggage and I don't want to add to that. So those are my 2 things with my extreme independence, which I'm a work in progress, but it's definitely gotten better.
Thank you for sharing, and I'm glad you were able to overcome, that dark place that you were in. Like, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yes, girl, because I know that I feel like I can speak for Brittany too. We have been in some very dark places, and to have to even contemplate that, it's like like, okay, I got to do something. I got to fight. Fight or flight. So, girl, thank God for that resilience. Honestly. But I think even listening to y'all talk, it made me think about like even in my latter years, because I attribute a lot of things to the stuff that's happened in my childhood because my childhood was so traumatic. But I know for me, a lot of it in hindsight, my mom and my dad were both drug addicts. My dad when he was very, very much so like the father though. When he could be clean for the time periods he could. My mom was just flighty. So it was like I would get my dad, like, because he was such a great dad when he wasn't addicted. He was loving, he was caring, he was a provider. So he was giving me that whole, you gonna always be good if I'm here thing. So when he was snatched away from me from drugs, it was like, all I knew was to work hard. I just would tap into what it was instilling in me when he wasn't there. And with my mom, she just wasn't able to like be there in any way, shape, or fashion. So it was like I took upon myself at an early age to make sure that I was okay, and then my 5 other siblings were okay too. It was like somebody had to step up to the plate, and so it was just like from that moment on, I just went into I gotta make it happen. And ain't no, if I don't make it happen, it's not gonna happen. And like that's always been my mindset. Like I can't be like my mom, which inevitably was starting to lead me down the road of being like my mom because my motivation was all messed up. I'm supposed to want to be better because I want to be better, not because of my mother. But I took on this, oh, she couldn't be there for me. I'm not gonna ever need to ask her for nothing. So I'm gonna make sure I got it. And I would do the same, go without living out of my car, staying with a friend, like all kinds of stuff, just to make sure that if I'm failing, it's because of me, and if I'm soaring, it's because of me. Like that's just, I think, kind of like what Brittany was talking about. And so even current day, I still from time to time will just go into this mode of feeling like nobody can help me but me. So I gotta, you know what I'm saying? But dealing with the more healthy I get, the more I go through therapy, the more I express myself in this manner and let like my gifts help with healing. I attract people who are healthy for me, and they really just be like, yo, like you need to just relax. Like it's okay to trust somebody. It's okay to like let somebody be support for you. But like you said, you still struggling with it. I feel like I'm better with it now, but even still, like I have to be snatched out of that. Like that's why I thank God for my roommate, because she'll pull me out of that quick. Like like sure, I understand, but you don't have to operate like that no more. You're not living in that trauma no more. You are not surviving no more. Like you can chill. And that's why I loved your blog, because like we don't have to live in that same state no more. Like we're past that, but we still operating out of fear from what we know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my experience.
So
consequences.
yes, let's talk about the consequences of even doing this. Asia, you want to start?
The consequences, it's definitely can be very hindering in relationships. I've lost friends. I've had knockdown, drag out fights with my partner. I have had an estranged relationship with my dad for a period of time. Like it changes the way that you see the world, and you don't even realize how negative your viewpoint is. Because to me, like I remember I went to a funeral and something stuck with me. They said, you know, everyone likes to say that they don't need people, but everybody needs somebody.
Thanks.
And that is something that I'm like, okay, I need to work on one, letting people be there for me when I need them, but also knowing my boundaries of when I can't be there for somebody else because it's draining to me.
Woo, girl, yes.
You just stepped on both our toes. That's why we had the same reaction.
Let that marinate, because that literally, oh my God, yes.
It's like because when you're a giver or you're an empath, like you just want to help the world because of what you've been through personally. And that for me, that's a big part of it. It's like, I know what it was like to go without. I know what it was like to help my mom pay bills and, you know, see my dad in this way. Like, I want to be the person that I wish that I had. And not to say that I didn't have the people around me, because I definitely have always had a great support system, but I want to be that one that I don't need to necessarily talk to you, but I need you to feel comfortable with you talking to me. Because I think that's the biggest thing is we're not always needing somebody to just respond to us. We just want somebody to listen.
Literally.
That's it. Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
So
girl,
I can agree. Yeah, girl, I'm trying to, you know, keep the flow going, but it's like I'm like feeling like I need to process this to take this in, because this is like this current. But I was
like, that's why I said she is stepping on our toes. What in the world?
For sure. It's always like this. If the person who come on and the topic be right on time and right what we need, so be like, okay, we listening to, like, listeners understand that I keep the notebook and be taking notes because look, it's resonating. But I definitely just resonate with as far as like losing people. It also gives you a false sense of like your connections. When you don't allow people to show up for you in their own way, you've already put a limit on what that connection could be. You already gotta, you will never be able to fully experience the type of connections you have. So you really block yourself from potentially open doors, potentially meeting other people. Like, you know how you meet somebody, so you meet somebody else, and that's